Hey guys, Mike here at Automation Tutorials. Welcome back to another modeling video. All right, well, as you can see in front of you, we are going to model this toy cart. Not sure if that has a specific name or not, but you probably recognize it. And I'll make this reference image available to you guys. Okay, so let's get started with that. And what we're going to do here is we are going to model it. We're going to apply some shaders to it. We're going to apply some 2D external files to it. And some of it we're going to UV, and that's specifically for the 2D files. Okay. All right. Let's get started with the creation of one of the wheels. Okay. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a polygon pipe here, and we're going to pull that out, and I'm going to pull that up just a bit there, and we're gonna go into our attribute editor. Okay. First of all, we're gonna increase the subdivisions. So we're gonna increase that to, let's say, 30. That's about right. Okay. Now we need to decrease the thickness a little bit. So let's do 2 on that. Maybe that's a bit much. Let's see. We want to have that opening for the bolt there. So actually, instead of decreasing it, let's increase that. Yeah, it's about right. Okay. Then the radius, let's see if we can scale that down in a sec. Okay. So this would be about right. Okay. And then we're going to move in. We're going to right click. We're going to go to edge and we're going to select that edge row. And down here, we're going to shift select that edge row. All right. And then we're going to hit R and we're going to push that out, which will give us something looking like this. All right. And when we smooth it out, so right click object mode and hit 3 on your keyboard, we'll get something like this. Okay. Now, all in all, not too bad, with the exception of this opening right here in the middle. We want that to maintain that shape. So we're going to hit 1 to go back. We're going to go to Mesh Tools in our Polygon menu. Where'd you go? Right there. And we're going to go to Insert Edge Loop. And we're going to add one right there. And one right there. Hit Q on our keyboard, right click object mode, select it and hit 3, which is much better. Okay, we're going to hit E to rotate that upwards. And in our attribute editor, just select this guy. Okay, we're going to go to our polypipe 1 here. And let's just check our settings. Okay, that looks all right. Okay, we're going to hit R. We're going to scale that down. And then from this view, although we don't exactly have a front view, we're going to scale that to roughly the size that we want in our picture here. So we're going to hit our X-ray button, F to zoom in, and R to scale down just a bit more. So that would roughly be the size that we're going for. Okay. All right. Now next we have, let's see if that thing is at 90 degrees. Not quite. Okay. So now we have the tire on the outside. Okay. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a polygon torus. Oh, that's very big. We're going to hit R. We're going to scale it down quite a bit. Okay. Then we're going to increase our subdivision count to 30. There we go. First, we're going to hit E to rotate it and make sure we're at 90 degrees. Then we're going to position it. So first, we're going to take this guy and we're going to set our translate values to 0. There we go. And we're going to do the same with this guy. And that will help us to position it. Okay. So we're going to hit F and this view right here. So this is an object. And there we go. So we're going to hit R and let's put that around there. Then let's deal with the radius here first. Section radius needs to go down quite a bit. Let's do 1 and see how that looks. Maybe a bit more. 1.5. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, and then we're going to check it from this view and see if just hit F to zoom in, take my image, hit W and push it out of the way. Just have a look and see what we got. Okay, now you can see there's a little opening there. So we're going to select it, we're going to hit R, we're going to scale it down just slightly. And we're going to select this guy and hit 3 to smooth it out. All right, which gives us this as our wheel. Okay, we're going to select it. We're going to hit Control G to group it. And we'll just call that wheel. Okay. All right, so what's next? We're going to look at the back axle. And I'll just look at it from this view here. So take my image, push it back a little. So on the back here, we have two wheels. We have this axle and we have this arched bracket in the back. Okay, so we're going to take this wheel here. We're going to hit Control D to duplicate. Let's pull that over to something like this. And let's see what else we need to do. Okay, we're going to take an axle. So we're going to take a polygon cylinder. We're going to pull that up. We're going to hit E, rotate that to 90 degrees. We're going to hit R to scale it down, make it a bit thinner. And we're going to stretch it out. And first we're going to make sure that it's sitting where it needs to sit. Okay, so we're going to hit W. Let's move that over and move that down. So this should be 0, this should be 0. And this guy we can look at. F to zoom in. There we go. We're going to hit R. We're going to scale that up. It's not responding very, very quickly, but we're getting there. Okay. From our top view, we're just going to hit F to zoom in. We're going to hit W to bring that down. 4 for wireframe mode, so we can kind of see whether that's sticking out or not. There we go. And then we're going to right click, go to vertex, drag select that, and bring that back into roughly the same level there. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make it a little bit thinner. And we're not going to make it thinner overall. So we're going to go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop Tool, Option Box, Multiple, and we'll do 2. We're going to add 2 of them right there. And we're going to hit R. And we're going to stretch them out until they're quite close to our wheel. And then we're going to right click, go to Face, select those faces, Edit Mesh, Extrude. And we're going to push that back. That looks about right. Okay. Now we're going to want to have some sort of wheel nut going on there. So for that, we'll take a polygon cylinder, something like this. We're going to go into our attribute editor, and let's bring subdivision count down to 5. Okay. Hit E to rotate it. To -90. Okay. We're going to set our translate values to 0. Then we're going to go into this view here. We're going to hit R and we're going to scale that down. Bit hard to see from this view here. W to push it out a bit. F to zoom in. R to scale down. to about there. W to pull out just a little. And maybe we're going to hit R and just scale it up slightly. All right. So we got that. We're going to take this guy, Control D to duplicate, W to push out, F to zoom in. Okay. So that's what we got so far. All right. Now, as you can see, we got a bracket going up and round here. So for that, what we're going to do is we are going to take a polygon pipe, pull that up just a little, hit R to scale that down quite a bit, F to zoom in. We're going to go to our poly pipe. Let's see, we're going to decrease the thickness to, let's try 1. That's a bit much, 0.5, and maybe even less than that, 0.25. Okay, that's a bit better. We're going to increase subdivision to 40. There we go. And then we're going to approach it from our top view. And we're going to right click and go to face. And what we're going to do is, let's see, I need to tweak this. Let's do 50. That's better. Okay. So right click face. We're going to drag this down and select that half. And then we're going to hit W and we're going to pull that out. Okay. And then we're going to move in and right click face, and we're going to drag select from here. Let's drag that down. Okay. And then we're going to right click go to face, and we're going to get rid of this section right here. That's a bit much. Let's try this. Oh, it's still the same selection. Okay, fine. We're going to delete that. Right click object mode, modify center pivot. We're going to move that over here. We're going to hit E. We're going to rotate that to 90 degrees. There we go. And we are going to rotate it again to 90 degrees. Let's set our translate values to 0. It's not quite what I was looking for. We're going to pull that in from our top view. F to zoom in. Let's center that out there. Let's bring that in. See what we got. We're going to bring it up. We're going to hit R. We're going to pull it in. Now we're getting pretty close. We're going to hit W. We're going to move that down just a bit, so that axle is pushing through right there. And then we're going to check our reference, and as you can see, it needs a lot more height, looks like. And how much height is that? It's actually above our wheel, so that would be about there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move in, and we're going to right click at a face, and we're going to select, just hit bar 4, right click edge. We got that guy, and we're going to move over here. And we got that guy, and we're going to start to pull that down. Hit 5 for shaded mode. That looks better. And now we're just going to close those holes. Okay, so we're going to, oops, select those, go to mesh and fill hole. And let's do the same here. There we go. Okay. So that's one section of our cart. Okay. Now we're going to deal with this stuff later. We're going to move to our front right now. So we're just going to right click on object mode. We're going to select all of this stuff. Control G. And we'll call this wheel set. We're going to select that. And we're going to hit Control D to duplicate. W to move forward. That looks pretty close to where we need to be. Okay. And then from there, as you can see, there are brackets running up from there and up from there. Okay. Now, in order to have a good sense of proportion, we need to now create the bed of the cart, if you will. Okay. So we're going to take a polygon cube. I'm going to pull it out, give it a little bit of height. And then we're going to go to our top view, hit F to zoom in. Let's push that in there. F to zoom in. R to push it in to something like this. And now we're going to check our example to see how far that is sticking out. And it looks like it's going from the outer dimensions. Okay. So we'll do the same here. We're going to move that to about there. Right click vertex, take that and move it to about there. Okay. Right click object mode, select it. Let's move it there. We're going to Control D to duplicate. Let's move it over and we're going to hit Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, and Shift D. Not bad. Okay. Then we're going to select these. We're going to raise them up and we're going to set them on top of our brackets. There we go. And we're probably going to need to raise it a bit more because as you can see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 additional boards going on there. Okay. So for that, we'll take one of these guys, Control D to duplicate, E to rotate to -90. There we go. We're going to go to our top view, hit F to zoom in, and we want this guy, hit W to move it, to be on top of that axle and be aligned with this board here. So I'm going to right click, go to vertex, drag select, move that in right there. Okay, let's position it correctly from this view. So we're going to right click on object mode, take these guys and move that up. And then we have this guy, Control D to duplicate, pull it back here, F to zoom in, and that should fit perfectly unless these guys are not at 90. Looks like they are, so not quite sure what the problem is there. Okay. Now, as I said, there are 5 boards there, so we're going to copy this, Control D to duplicate. Let's get that right there. Control D again. We'll do one in the middle right there. and Control D again, and we'll do one right there. Let's just check to see what we got here. Okay, looks good. All right, so now that we got that, we got our brackets going on. Okay, and you can see that these oval brackets are hitting these boards, and then we got brackets coming out from here, and they're going from the wheel up to the board. And let's see if that's the one in the middle. Not necessarily. It looks like one's going there and one's going there. That's a good measurement for us to see if we're okay with our position. That's fine. And what we'll do there is we will take a polygon cube and we'll pull that out. Give it just a little height. We're going to hit E, we're going to rotate it. Let me see, let me think, are we? No, we're not. Actually, what we'll do here is, because I recall how this thing looks in real life, we're going to take a polygon cylinder. We're going to give that some height. We're going to hit R, we're going to scale that down and stretch that out. We're going to hit E, we're going to rotate it over to -90 to make it nice and flat. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roughly measure the length that we need. So hit W, move that over. F to zoom in. And our bracket's going to start somewhere around here, and it's going to end up here. So we're going to right click our vertex. And we're going to bring that to about there. It's not diagonal yet, but that's fine. Then right click object mode. Just pull that down and over here so we can play with it. F to zoom in. Mesh tools, insert edge loop tool. And we still have two. So we're going to pull that out to the end, like so. And then we're going to right click on a face, select those end faces there, and shift select those, and hit R. Actually, I forgot to extrude, sorry. Edit mesh, extrude under face, hit R, and let's start to push them in like so. Okay. All right. Not bad. Okay. Now the tricky part. Object mode. We're going to hit W. We're going to move that in. We're going to move that up. Let's see from our top view where we're at. We're going to bring that in. Let's push that down. And we're going to, yeah, we're going to do it like that. Okay. We're going to push it out a little. Right click vertex, drag select, and we're going to pull that up. And then we're going to right click on object mode, and we're going to start to position it in the angle that we need. Okay. So F to zoom in, E to rotate, W to move in, F to zoom in, and 4 for wireframe mode. Okay, so we want this to sit on top of our axle here, like so. And then we're going to right click on the vertex, we're going to drag select all of this stuff, and we're going to move it over here to roughly the middle. And then we're going to right click on the vertex, we're going to take these vertices, pull them in horizontally, hit E to rotate to straighten them out at the end, and then R to, hang on, Let's see, double click on this guy from that view, push it back in like so. And then we're going to right click on a vertex, drag like this. We're going to push it back and we're going to raise it up to right there. Okay. Let's clean that up a bit. As you can see, this is not quite where it needs to be just yet. Right click vertex, drag select. All right. And the idea here is that there's a tube going over the axle, so this section is not rotating, okay? And the axle is inside the tube. That's how these can be fixed right here, okay? Now we need to deal with how far left or right they need to be. And from this view, let's see, there's one going up there, but the front axle needs to be able to move, okay? So let's figure that out for a sec, because this is not a very clear thing to work with, if you know what I mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to do these two in the back here, which is fine. So I'll take that, Control D, move that over, and just look at it from this view to get a sense of whether they're positioned correctly. I'm going to get this guy just in this gap here, and this guy in that gap right there. Okay, so that section looks fine. And what we now did pretty much is, I'll just drag select this, mesh combine, and don't worry about that, I'll fix that in a sec. Modify center pivot, just going to flip it over. Minus 180, we'll do 0, and we'll do 180. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to select it again. We're going to hit 1 just to get our normal shape back, and we'll go back to mesh and separate. Select our wheels, and hit 3 on those. Okay, and we're back. All right, so this guy should be able to rotate. That's fine. So we're going to create a pivot point there. For that, we'll take a polygon sphere. Okay, and we'll just zoom in on that. Right click face, drag select the top half. Come on. Hit delete, object mode, hit W, move that in here, move that up. I have to zoom in. Check it from our top view. Okay, so this is the front of our cart or wagon or whatever it's called. And that should be the middle, okay? We're gonna hit R to scale it down, W to pull it in. Have to zoom in. Okay, so that will make our front wheels pivot. All right, cool. So what else have we got? Like I said, not quite sure on the structure back here. It's pretty unclear how that works. So not sure on that one. So let's deal with the front end right now, okay? We've got these two little brackets that are holding the handle. So we'll take one of these guys, We're going to hit Control D, duplicate, move it over here, modify center pivot. Let's move it up, F to zoom in. Okay, and we're going to rotate this guy. So we're going to hit E. Yeah, and we'll do not quite that yet. They look to be at an angle, so it's kind of hard to figure out, but we'll get there. We're going to push that down. And we're going to push that back and down. I have to zoom in. Okay, so we got one there. And we are going to select that guy, go to Edit, Duplicate Special, Option Box, Instance, and we'll do a -1 scale on X and hit Apply. Let's see if that worked out for us. We'll have to rotate it somewhat. What's the deal with that? Oh, that's the problem. There we go. Yep, okay. All right, so we got these two. Now we're gonna fit them in the middle. So I have to zoom in. So I got these two. I'm going to hit W, and I'm going to move them over to about there. And they need to come together somewhat. So let's see what we got there. Yeah, we need to bring it in a bit. Okay, so we're going to select this. I'm going to bring that in. Until they are very close. And then we're going to make sure that it's as centered as can be, which would be something like so. Okay. And that will allow us to connect our handle right there. Okay. I just want to check something quickly. So on the way this is rotated, so that would be 135 because we need to have 90 and 45. Okay.